Welcome back. It is 8:15 right now, so it is Black History Month, and it is the perfect time to initiate difficult conversations with our kids about race. In fact, researchers at Yale University say kids start to notice differences in skin colors by the time they're 6 months old. And by age 5, a child can show many of the same racial attitudes that their parents have. So joining me this morning to talk about how to start these conversations, Carol Muleta, the founder, I should say, of Parenting 411. Carol, good morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Liz.
Absolutely. So let's just start with the basics here. How do you start a conversation with your kids about this?
Well, very often they open the door because that's the thing about children. They see differences all the time. They don't have the same filters we have, so they call it like they see it. And so we should pick up on those and just talk about differences and answer their questions. Don't avoid the conversation so that they don't think that difference is defective or wrong, because a lot of times with racism, the problem is that there's fear, there's ignorance, and there is a lack of curiosity. So you can cultivate that with your children from a very early age. The first start is having those courageous conversations. Don't shy away from them.
Yeah. I was actually going to ask, it's important to be conscious of your own biases when we're having these conversations. What tips do you have for that?
Well, certainly, ask your family members or others to kind of observe you. Notice when they have conversations with you, if there's anything that they pick up on, and just examine them. Don't be ashamed of them because we all have them. It's natural. However, examine them, confront them, but also don't forget your children will also call you out on those because they don't have the same filters, they don't have the same context, so they don't mind asking you, hey mom, what did you mean by that? Or when you described a person a certain way, why? Do you know that person? Why did you say that? So that's one way to certainly ask others around you what they notice about how you're speaking.
I know, I'm kind of going through my head thinking about all the the awkward conversations that our parents had to have with us about things that probably made them uncomfortable, and how you kind of, just how you use your words properly in these situations. And how do you not let your nerves get the best of you if you're feeling kind of scared about it?
Well, certainly you can practice it beforehand and also arm yourself with information, but at the same time, be honest when you're talking with your children. You have to say, I have to admit there's some things I don't know too. And, let's learn together, because it certainly isn't fair to make judgments about other people who are different, and just group people in a category and give them the same attributes and all of that. So let's work on this together. So just be honest with our children. They're very forgiving. They understand. So that's a great start. And then to prepare for these conversations on an ongoing basis, work to diversify your child's toy box, bookshelf, and all of the media that they're consuming. Make sure that people of other cultures and races are represented in different capacities so that they can see the many different roles that we all can play in the world. And then that helps them to become familiar with differences and not be frightened by it. And then to also recognize that they could be perceived as different from other people.
I love that.
Yes, and explore differences in different cultures through cuisine, the arts, and be careful and be mindful of pointing out the similarities, because there are a lot of similarities between cultures as well. There's some differences, but then there's some similarities, and we can build on those.
I love this. And I also love just being honest, too, having honest conversations and sort of saying, let's work on this together. Let's go through this together. I think that's such a great idea. You do hear people say things like, I don't see color. And, does that kind of shut things down? Does that shut the conversation down? That doesn't always sound like the way that maybe people should approach these things.
It definitely does shut things down, because what you're telling people is that we're going to take that off the table. And to a person of color, they're saying, what do you mean you're taking that off the table? That's what I am. That's very much a part of who I am. And so that can be considered offensive and belittling. It's, we all are part of some culture. So let's just bring all of that to the table, everybody, and don't shut that out.
I love that. I love that. Absolutely. Part of the life experience and the life story of so many people. Carol Muleta, thank you so much with Parenting 411 this morning. Appreciate this important conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, 8:20 right now.